So today we have to talk about DRX because they perhaps have been the best performing team so far in this tournament. They've been dominant, and it's really raising the hopium, I think, if you wanted DRX to go deep in this tournament and maybe even win the tournament with the way that they are playing, because they have been very, very good in their 2 games so far. And even though they're games that probably most people expected them to win, they have been dominant in those games and looked a lot better than a lot of other teams. And so let's get in to see how they are playing. And so it starts with here. They're on the attacking side on Breeze, their map pick on round 4. And we're going to see some things out of DRX here that are really, really cool. And so the first thing that we have to take a look at here is, let's go to the map view. So keep your eye on this sky, because they're going to send a flash down here. We're going to get the Sova dart up into mid as well. And they know that NiP, like to push. They know that they like to get aggressive with it at times. And so NiP are going to get a bit aggressive with it. But again, this is just beautiful from the side of DRX and the way that they counter this, because you can see there's a KO knife in here. There's a dart from NiP as well, to get this chamber into this pushed up position ready to go. But as I said, DRX are more than ready for it. You can see they've got this sky flash here, and that's going to flash the chamber. But I must also note, this KO, I'm not quite sure, but it kind of looks like, he's ready to push with the chamber as well. But the jet here, RB, has put up this kind of one-way jet smoke on the door to isolate. It's like almost they knew exactly what was going to happen, because as we run this forward, that one-way smoke means that Benzi can't push that. And the flash, as you can see, is perfect there on the chamber, and they get the kill, and RB dashes away. And that first kill, that just goes to show you how much they've thought about it. But then as we run this round forward, it's going to get very interesting, because then they're going to drone. And the reason they're going to drone is to kind of secure their position in mid, make sure that there isn't any second layer to that push now that's coming in off the side. And the thing is, that's going to push the KO back off. And here's the thing, you'll look at the players for NiP here and where they are. They don't have any eyes on mid, and that is a big thing. And this is something that DRX are so good at. They know that that drone has just pushed that KO off, and so they kind of have this just innate sense of where the push and pull is, because they're going to go back to A. But you can see that NiP are investing a ton here to see what's in mid. They just droned with the Sova. They've got these 2 players here in mid as well, but DRX have gone to A. And it's just that push and pull, they're so good at it in understanding exactly what their opponents are going to do. They execute onto the site. NiP actually do pretty well here. This is a pretty well played round by both sides, I will say, but DRX just a bit better. They send in the drone, they send in the dart, pretty normal execute, Viper wall up as well. But NiP, as I said, did pretty well. The KO manages to suppress quite a few players themselves. You can see the KO molly is here as well. And then when the Viper starts joining in, we're going to get a Viper molly on the default plant very soon as well. Now, the KO tries to make a play. Unfortunately, Stacks is able to turn around and make the shot, and so we end up in a 5v3. But then the wall drops at a bad time for RB, and they kind of get stuck. NiP did manage to delay. As I said, they got the Viper molly on the plant, the KO molly, the suppression. It did stop DRX a bit here, so we've ended up in this situation where they don't actually have the site. They aren't ready to plant or anything like that, and there's only 26 seconds left. But they don't panic. They just need to wait for this Viper wall to recharge to let them get back onto the site. And so they aren't going to panic, even though the time is low. They're going to send out a Sky Flash and the Sky Dog to push off anyone close, so that when they put up this Viper wall here, no one is close, and you can see it had the desired effect. But then I love this as well, because they do start to plant, as you can see here. But we've got John here. He's obviously going to swing the plant. Hey, there's only 15 seconds left. If he kills the Sky here, they probably win the round on the side of NiP. But you'll see just soon, Buzz is sprinting out. He's sprinting out to get here, because he knows I can't let someone swing Stacks, because if we lose the spike there, it probably is round over. And so Buzz is sprinting over across to cover his teammate, and he gets there just in time, and he's able to get the kill. Really nice from Buzz. He does end up paying for his life after the fact, but it was well worth it to get that spike down, and now they're in a great situation. Now, as we played forward, again, they wait for that Viper wall to be able to get through. Marco gets BNJ pushing through the Viper wall, trying to make a play. And we end up in this 3v1. And here's the thing. In this tournament, we've seen, a fair few different 3v1s and things like that. But the DRX aren't going to give you that, because they're not going to peek you. They aren't going to just peek you one by one and all these mistakes that quite a few other teams have done. But, the most you're going to get is a jump peek there, because they know Zest is behind. And they're just going to wait. And they are just playing very, very well. And this was a very good round of Valorant. And let's go to the very next round, and this one is quite interesting. They're against an eco here, but they're going to do something that I think most teams won't do, and most teams might tell you that it's the wrong thing to do, but particularly on this map and particularly on this A site, I think it actually makes a lot of sense. And so let me show you what I'm talking about, because it is just going to be a bit of an A push here. The KO knife is going to come in and only suppress the chamber, I think. But what they're going to do is they're going to send the drone and the dog in at the same time. Now, a lot of people would yell at you and say, what are you doing? Why are you doing this at the same time? Aren't they doing the same thing? Well, no, because here's the thing about Breeze and this A site. It's very, very big. And so a drone and a dog can really only see half a site. And that is exactly what they do. They're going to send the dog over to this side of the site and clear all of that. And they're going to send the drone over to this side of the site and clear all of the left side. And it works really, really well, particularly against an eco, which is when they often did this. They did this a couple times in this match, and it was always against ecos. And I think the reason that they do this is because how do you lose to an eco? You get surprised. That's how you're going to lose to an eco. And so by doing a dog and a drone at the same time, there are no surprises, because what's going to happen is these two bits of utility are going to spot, you know, a lot of players here, and it's going to tell them exactly where they are, combined with the dart as well. So the dog, as you see, gets the KO. The drone sees an extra 2 players there as well, and they're able to get the site and get the spike down. Now, here's the thing, it's not going to go perfectly for them this time either, because what's going to happen is there's going to be some nice shots here hit by the side of NiP, but they are going to be able to win the round. And what's going to win them this round is Mako here. He's the one who's going to win them the round on this big flank, because whilst these kills start getting traded on the site here, Mako is coming all the way around the side, and you're about to see that he is about to come in clutch from this position. He's just going to start picking them off and able to win the round for the side of DRX. But again, just that dog and drone thing that you wouldn't normally see, actually I think it makes a lot of sense for this A site on Breeze. And now let's come to round number 7, and this one is probably my favorite of all of the DRX rounds. Because what's going to happen is John has got his knives, and anytime a jet has knives, the likelihood of defensive aggression is quite a bit higher, and so they know that again, and so they're going to do the exact same thing, where they're going to send this sky flash out of elbow here, and that is going to catch John, as you can see there. So they flash with the sky just down here, completely blinds him, and you know, his knives and his early kind of aggression is stopped right in its tracks. Then we get this weird kind of ult out of the side of NiP. Obviously they had seen people down mid, but the silver ult isn't even long enough to actually catch them there. So anyway, what they're going to do now is they're going to go regroup and come up tube or tunnel or whatever you want to call this. They're going to go up there and make this an A split with the Silver and Viper coming through A main and these three going through the tunnel. And this is a really nice execute, and I love, this is what I'm going to call the DRX flash, because they were the first team that I've seen do it, and still probably the only team that I've seen do it. But what they just did was they sent out the drone here, spotted someone back on the site here, and so they're going to Silver ult it. And Silver ults, as I've mentioned before, are just a chaos maker. It's very loud, you know, defenders are always trying to avoid it, and so they aren't focusing on other things, and it's a great chance to just, you know, do a bunch of other stuff whilst you're doing it. And so what's going to happen is, whilst we're getting this Silver ult come in, at the same time, we are going to get this beautiful little thing that DRX like to do, which is they open this door and then they send a sky flash out through the very bottom of the door, and then whilst the door is opening they pop the flash, but you don't get flashed by it because the door is still opening, but everyone else on site does get flashed by it, and it's absolutely beautiful, and you're about to see what I mean, because there goes the door, there goes the flash at the very bottom of the door, and here comes RB with the flash and the door open. You can see both people were still flashed by the time he swung out. Stacks is able to trade, and then Jandy here is in a very bad position. Not because he's in a bad position, but he's just in a bad position because of what happened, right? Because anytime you get this A split coming in like this, and the people are able to get through the door and on into the site, what do you do if you're here? Because you have to, you know, be looking 2 ways, and so it's very difficult for Jandy in that position. And so he gets picked off by Stacks as well, and then they get into these very ratty little positions. Here's one from Buzz example. And they're just going to be able to win the round. But look, even Mako there, even though they've killed 3 people on this site, he's still waiting for that Viper wall. They're very, you know, they're doing their due diligence. They aren't giving you any chance to win this round. And in those ratty positions, they find the last 2 kills. And this was, again, another round of beauty. And now let's come to round number 10. And this one is a super, super interesting round, because what's happened so far is basically nothing. DRX, there's a minute and 7 seconds left, but this is going to continue where they're not going to do anything. They've just held these positions for the entire time, but you can see the chamber has the spike here. And so that leads me to believe that this was always a fake, but they're going to even use their opponent's information against them even more so, because what's about to happen is pretty important. And so they're just sitting here like they have been the entire round, you know, not really doing much. And eventually what's going to happen is we're going to get a KO knife in here. And the thing is about this KO knife, it comes at a very particular time, because whilst that has happened, the Sky is going to dog. The Viper Wall has just gone down on B. We're going to get this Sova big dart here that they like to do. That's a super cool lineup. And the Sova is about to drone as well. The spike is on A though. Here's the thing. This KO knife hits both the Sova and the Sky. And anytime you see a Sova and a Sky on one side of the map, you know, in these kind of, you know, ready to kind of go positions, that's going to make you believe that it is a B hit. Thing is, the spike is here. And the thing is, DRX know that. And so they instantly just walk out. They just walk out onto this A site. No utility. They just silently walk in onto this A site, and you can see where these NiP players are. They've all moved off towards the B site, because why wouldn't you believe? You know, they've put up a Viper Wall there. They've spotted the Sky and the Sova. That's a B hit. It has to be a B hit. But no, all along it was meant to be a fake, but they used their opponent's utility against them even more, and then RB is able to hit that shot. And the thing is, now we got this really weird situation where, because obviously all the DRX players were on the other side, they kind of take their time getting across here, making sure that no one's flanking. And so RB has this super weird task where he's on the site completely alone with the spike and just has to live. And he does it absolutely amazingly, because he never really commits to fights that he doesn't win with like the first couple of bullets. He just keeps jumping around, eventually finds one. Jandy actually is able to come behind, but then eventually the KO is going to die as well. And so we're going to end up in this situation where he's going to run back here and run straight into Mako there at the end. And again, just that, the ideas that DRX have. It was meant to be a fake, and then their opponent kind of just, helped them, convinced them that it was a fake. And so they used that very much against them and just blind walked onto A. It could have gone very wrong, but they just seem to have a very good inkling for what their opponents are thinking, and when, when they can get away with something like that, because you won't always be able to get away with that. But DRX just have a very good understanding of what exactly their opponent is thinking and doing. And now let's come to round number 12. And this one is not going to start out well for DRX. You can see we've got a Viper's Pit here on A. The chamber has an op here in mid, and this op is gonna come in big pretty soon here, because he's gonna be able to pick off the Sova there and then TP out. Whilst that's going on, we've got this double push here from the side of NiP, and they're gonna come in with the KO and the Jet, flash around this box, and are gonna be able to get that second kill as well, and that's pretty big. And so they start out in this 5v3, not looking great. The thing is, they know where the chamber is, and RB is able to just hit that shot first and gets it back into a 3v4. But the crucial thing is that the chamber just died. And the thing is, when the chamber dies, that means generally that this is going to be pretty free. And so that is what they do. They do something very, very weird. They know there's Viper Spits on A. They push all 3 players down tunnel, which is not something you often will see. But because that chamber died, that trap is no longer effective. And Buzz here actually gets a bit unlucky that he's looking the wrong way and dies to the Sova there. But this is the thing. You might expect, if you're this Sova, that, well, yeah, one person might walk down there. That makes sense. And then it is just one person. He darts just to make sure that no one else is close. But the thing is, he's then caught completely unaware, because the other 2 players are just a bit behind and ready to kill him as well. You can see that he isn't quite ready for it. And they get that kill. They end up in a 2v3. Now, they also have a Viper Spit of their own, and I think that this tournament, and kind of the qualification for it as well, has just proven that the strength of the Viper Spit is pretty absurd, because we've seen quite a few, either 1 versus, many, or 2v many in this situation here, where the Viper Spit is just really, really strong and just gives you such an advantage. And this time was no exception, because as NiP begin to push in, there goes 1. There goes 2, and there's the 3rd one as well. And so they're able to win a 2v4 there. But again, it's that understanding of, oh, the chamber died. That means that this part of the map is most likely to be open, and we can exploit that. And they went and they exploited it. And then to close it out, let's come to DRX defensive side and we'll take a look at round number 16. And already they have some really cool little things set up. This was a nice little idea that they had with the Sky here pushed up against this box and the Jet watching the long angle. It didn't actually go perfectly for them because they only used it a couple times, and in one of the times, actually NiP were very aware of it and killed the Sky, and in this time, obviously, that they did it, they're going to be, so it didn't get to be used. But if someone does come around here, the Jet is obviously gonna probably be in a bit of a firefight with them, maybe have a a couple shots and whatnot, and then if the Sky can flash in after maybe the Jet has dashed away or ran away or whatever the outcome of that fight is, if the Sky then flashes round here, like, there's no way you would expect it. I really like this little setup that they had going there, but as you can see, NiP in this instance are going to go to the B site. But they have a little trappy setup here as well with the chamber in this weird off angle that's, watching the cross here towards the B site, and obviously he's got the teleports set up. And that's where the action is going to begin here with Buzz, because he's actually gonna hit a headshot. It gets bended down to 10 HP, the phantom headshot there. But eventually Mako does manage to spray him down. Obviously he was only one hit, and the site execute comes in. But if we take a look at the map, they just play full retake. They're happy to be in a 5v4 retake. The thing is though, Jandy here catches a very good timing and a nice movement there on the side of RB, and then Zest, this is not his best movement. You can kind of tell they showed a replay of this after the fact of like, what was he doing? You can kind of tell he clearly believed that this wall he was perhaps closer to this wall than he thought, and he could just jump out and be safe and live to fight another day. And then the Viper is pretty close by, so he's probably thinking, well, we can then double swing and we'll probably get this kill and we'll be fine. But that wall wasn't that close, and so he ends up dying as well. And now they're kind of in a bit of a weird situation. It's a 4v3. This chamber's causing a lot of chaos, but Stacks finds this really nice repositioning to kind of, again, just that idea of what that chamber's going to do. He seemed to understand it. So we end up in a 3v3 retake here. They're all coming from different angles, but again, DRX very structured, very well timing, very good timing, I should say, for all of their players, because they always push as a team. You don't see anyone going on their own. Everything is coordinated as a team. They slowly kind of creep in together. The dart comes up, they're gonna wait. Okay, the dart's up, our chamber can't go, let's wait. And then what's going to happen is, as they start, you can see again, they're all kind of in the position ready to actually come in onto the site at exactly the same time. This defensive kind of retake-ish Viper wall comes up as well, and that is super, super good for exactly this scenario and where these players are, because this Viper wall is going to win them the round pretty much, because the Sky is about to flash out here of this B side. The thing is, this Viper wall cuts off the other players from being able to see the Sky, and the Sky gets a free kill on the Sova, and you'll see what I mean as we run it forward from there as well. We also get this nice Viper molly there on John, but you see that this Viper wall isolates then the second fight as well, and then isolates the third fight for him, which unfortunately Stacks loses that one, but again, they are able to close this out. Obviously John only on 48 HP and then 8, and Mako is eventually able to find that last kill and win the round for DRX. And I think on the whole, this was a very, very good performance from DRX, and they have looked very, very strong. And I think, well, they're coming up against Paper Rex, which is a bit of a shame for me because I really like both teams, and it'll be sad to see one of them go to the lower bracket, but it'll definitely be it'll be a super interesting, weird game that I'm very much looking forward to. And I think DRX are proving themselves this time that, yeah, they are here to play.